All right, here we go. We're going to dive into, now that we've been doing all kinds of different areas, let's talk about surface area. So this is like wrapping a present, and we're going to have various shapes. I know in 6th grade you talk a lot about prisms and doing some surface area, and we're going to add on to that some funky things and weird situations. You just did a little bit with some cylinders, so let's take a look at what we've got today. All right, so I need you in your textbook, go ahead and open up to this first page of Module 9, Section 4, 283. All right, page 283 up here. So here's a three-dimensional figure, but we're just going to go around the outside. So really, since I'm just doing the area of each of the sides, we could lay this flat. And you can see from this first picture to the second one, it's like they took the wrapping of a box and just laid it out flat in one piece. And if you can visualize what all this looks like, in this particular case, it is simply a whole bunch of rectangles, basically, is what's happening. So let me get this back up here, and here we go. Okay, so here you have a dimension of 20. Okay, that's like the height. That's right there. So all of these things are 20. And then you have this skinny, that's 8. That's right here on these two sides, which actually is this one and this one. Okay, and then also these two. And then your other dimension is 15. Okay, and as you unfold all this, this is what happens. If you can visualize this, great. If you can't, and it's a regular box, I just need you to think about what all you have. You have a top and a bottom, and usually we call those the bases. Okay, so that's your top and bottom. And there's two of those. Okay, two bases, top and bottom. And then you have all of the sides that go around. Often math books call this the lateral or the side areas. You actually have 4 of these guys. Okay, so you see this is the base, the 8 by 15, 8 by 15. And then you have the front and the back and the left side and the right side. Okay, so what you can do is do every single one of these pieces separately, or you could do this whole side section in one chunk, and it's totally up to you. Okay, in this one, I have my 2 bases, the 8 by 15. So if you did that, 8 times 15, and then knowing you have 2 of them, you can multiply those by 2 and crank that out on your calculator. That happens to be what? 120 times 2, you get about 240. Okay, so that's the top and the bottom. 120, 120, 240. Okay. Now, you could do all of these little rectangles separately. Okay, so just to prove to you, you can. The skinny side on the left is 8 by 20, so that'd be 160. That means this is 160. And then these larger rectangles from the front and the back are 15 by 20. And 15 by 20, that should give you 300. Okay. So you had the top and the bottom, you had the left and the right, which were 160 each, which gives you a total of 320. And then you had the front and the back, and the front and the back were each 300. 300. That gives you 600. If you add this whole sucker together, I think you get 1,160, something like that. The surface area. So that is what you should get here. Now, this is just square units because we're just wrapping it with paper, wrapping the present. You could tackle this another way, okay? And here's how I want to show you another way to do it, and you see if you like doing it this way. The formula sheet that you have on your that brightly colored sheet that we gave you, this is how this is going to tackle it. Okay, it says go ahead and find the top and the bottom. Okay, and we did that already. Those 2 bases, we said that was 8 by 15. The area of each base is 120, and so we're going to have 2 of those. 2 of those. So that'll be a total of 120. The lateral area is all the sides, which really, if I unfold this is this whole stinking big rectangle. In fact, it's like all of this that goes around the sides. And if I think about that, I have an 8, a 15, an 8, and a 15. See that? 8, 15, 8, 15. That's like the perimeter of the base. 8 and 15 is 23, another 23. Your perimeter of that bottom is really 46. Multiply that times the height of 20, and that actually gives you, what, 920? Okay? Right here. Or you could think of it as 2 of the left and the right sides, which is what we did before, 2 160s, and then these ones, which were the 2 300s. And if you do that, you're going to end up with this same number. Check it on your calculator. All right. 2 of those 120s gives me 240, and then you end up with 1160. There are so many ways you can do surface area. It's just a matter of what way makes sense to you. So if you want to break it up into all of these 6 shapes and then add them up, do that. If it makes more sense to you to kind of peel it apart and use this kind of bizarre formula that's going to show up on your formula sheet, you can do that too. Okay? Let's jump to some of these problems. And like I said, I'm kind of jumping around because you've done a lot of work with prisms before, and I want you to just kind of go with it without me kind of interfering. Spaghetti. Spaghetti comes in a box, okay? And it's a rectangular prism. So that means, you got this rectangle and then it's not very tall, okay? That's if it's laying flat, all right? Or maybe it'd be more accurate to look at it this way. Okay, it's spaghetti. It's tall and skinny, and it comes in a box that looks like this. Okay, and here's what it says. It's the long side is 9, and then the front side here is 2. So it's like 9 by 2, 9 by 2. And then it's 1.5 inches this way. Okay. All right, what's the surface area? You basically have 6 rectangles. Okay. I have a top and a bottom, and the top and the bottom each measure 2 by 1.5. Okay, you've got 2 of those. You have the front and the back are these tall ones that are 9 by 2. You have 2 of those. And then the side panels, those are also 9 tall. Let me get this up out of the way here. They're also 9 tall and 1.5 inches that way. And you have 2 of those. So basically, as you multiply this, let's see, this has an area, 2 times 1.5 is 3. And then we have 2 of those. So that gives me 6. This face has an area of 18. And then you have 2 of those. That'll give you 36. And then this last one, 9 times 1.5, gives you something like 13.5, I think. And then you have 2 of those, which should give you 27. So you have to add 6 and 36 and 27 to give you your grand total, and then label that as square inches. All right, let's keep pressing on. Okay, they are going to give us some complicated situations here. And so I want to talk. Maybe I have to go back here. No, this is it. We have 2 cubes stacked on top of each other. Okay, they're calling it a plant stand. And it says she wants to stain it except for the bottom of the larger prism. Okay, that's going to sit on the floor and we don't need to stain that one. Find the surface area of the part that she is going to stain. Okay, so it looks like I have this cube that's 8 by 8 by 8. Okay, and then the bottom one is 12 by 12 by 12. Now the question is, on this one, she's not going to do the bottom. And then on this one, she's not Well, is she? Isn't she? Is she going to do the whole top of the big one and the bottom of this one, even though no one's going to see it and it's not going to come in contact? I don't know. Let's just find it all and then separate out what we need to. Okay? Let's do the little one. That's 8 by 8 by 8. 8 by 8 by 8 more. Okay? 8, 8, 8. All right. You have a front and a back, a left and a right, and a top and a bottom that are all 8 by 8. So you really have these squares on every single face, and you have 6 of them. So calculate that out. 64 times 6. Okay? Boom. 360 and 24 more is 384. Okay, then you have the big box, and that one is 12 by 12 by 12. 12 by 12 by 12. All of those rectangles are the same. Top, bottom, front, back, left, right. So we're going to have each of these, and you've got 6 of them that are all exactly the same size. That's 144 times 6. Go ahead and crank that out. And I haven't had enough coffee, so I'm doing it this way. Okay? 144 times 6. 864. All right. Now, add these two together. 864 and 384. I get 1248. However, we've got to take some of these surfaces off. First, we're going to subtract off the bottom because that is not going to get stained, and that was 144. So take that off. That should be 1104. Now, the big question is, are we going to do the bottom of this box and the same top part of the big box that's getting covered? I don't know. If you said 1104 right now, I'd say okay. Or if we subtract out what's being covered underneath there by this, then I'd have to take off 2 64s. I'd take off the bottom of this and then the top of this one that's not exposed on the perimeter. So if we take off from 1104 and subtract off the 64, that's the bottom of the baby cube, and take off another 64, that's the corresponding top of the big cube, let's see what you get. So 1104 minus 64 minus 64. That gives me 976. That's what they said in the teacher edition is the 976. So I'm going to say let's go with that one. All right. So you're doing a bunch of surface areas. You need to figure out what you've got, add them all up, and just kind of go from there. All right. So let's see. 2 triangles and then 3 rectangles on this one. Okay. We'll come back to that one. How about this? You do number 2, and then let's do this. 4, 5. We're going to stick with some of these prisms. Ooh, this is a good one. 6, and then let's jump over here and tackle like 10 and try 11. We'll do some of these more complex ones in class in a little bit. All right. So this is what I want you to work on. You're going to do a lot of drawing and a lot of calculating and just lay out each of these and go from there. All right. This is on, what page is this? 287. All right. Good luck and may the force be with you.